Okay, so I've got enough of my floor plan drawn now to start setting out my section. And this is one of those important things that you'll all need to do that you can do almost at any stage once you have some of the basic plan elements, especially the walls. You can start setting out your section. And then as you're working on your floor plan, you can keep updating the section. So when you do the sections in AutoCAD, actually, I'll just ask you, how have you been doing them up until now? Yep. That's pretty much it, yep. That's it. So it's pretty similar to drawing on a drawing board when you're drawing by hand. And the main difference is that instead of projecting straight over the top of the plan like you might if you're drawing on paper, you draw it above, just to one side. You could do it below if you want to, but you probably do it above normally when you're projecting. That way it's a little bit easier. And so it's not a bad idea to have a layer for the section line. And I will just call that section line. Nice and simple. And you will eventually, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, same as in your plan. Yeah. But sorry? Yeah, all the walls should be hatched in. So if you're dividing the exterior and the interior walls up, that's good practice for new walls. So anything that you're adding as part of your design.
When you're drawing, so say you have a hatch in the wall,
Yeah.
but say the back wall,
Yeah.
you draw that up and you draw the interior wall,
Yeah.
it looks like that
Yeah.
in the drawing, but if you hatch them, it's going to look like a thick.
Yeah, that's you only hatch the walls that have been cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not all the walls. So some of the walls won't be being cut. They'll be in elevation. But it'll be a lot clearer, you'll see, once I've drawn it. So, so again, I've made a line or a layer for my section line. I don't need to make lots of other layers for all the things I'm going to draw in the section, like my walls, because I can use the same layers I've used in the plan. I am recording it, yep, yep. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line now on this section line layer that is cutting through where my section line's going to go. If you want to, you can draw some arrows at the end just to remind you which way your section's looking. Doesn't hurt. But you probably neaten these up later. Okay, so I've got that line there. Now I'm going to go to my layers and just change to my wall layer. Now, I'm going to go into the layer manager actually and rename that now, just so it's clear. So I'm going to make that a wall cut. So maybe I'll make another layer that I might need, so it's clear, a wall projection. Right, and so I'll make that have a light line weight, 0.18, and I'll make it have a different colour, just so that I know when things are on that layer. Yep. Okay, so now I'm simply going to draw a line from where the section line cuts my wall in plan. So from that intersection there. Just going to take it straight up. And I might turn ortho on just to keep it as a vertical line. So I don't know how long that line is. I've just made it go up beyond the plan. Now I'm going to go and make another layer because I don't have a layer for my floor, so I'm going to make a new layer, a floor. Change the colour just to something different. And I'll leave it with a heavy line weight. And don't be too precious or fussy with your layer settings. As long as you put the objects onto different layers, it's really easy to come back and change the colours of the line weights later, as long as you've got the objects on the right layers. So I've got my floor layer, and now I'm going to draw a new line just in a arbitrarily sort of rough area up here above the floor plan, somewhere like that, straight across, and that's my floor level. So we need a gap between the floor plan and the section, but it doesn't really matter how much of a gap. Sorry? No, not exactly, but no, that's fine. Okay, so I've located the floor. Do you have an idea how thick the floor would be in a building like this? That'd be a thick one. Yeah, it could be up to that thick. For a building of this size, I'd say it's probably even less than that. So 200 at most, I'd say would be the slab thickness. The ceiling might add more to it, but we can just do it 200 for now. So I'm going to offset that line, 200. If you want to do it 300, that's okay as well, but I'll do it 200. Click below. You can always just add it in later. It's fine. Yep. So I'll delete it. I can even add that after I've done the walls. It's fine. So now I might go and draw another line on my wall layer. From the inside. So this is where the section line crosses the same wall but on the inside. I'll just take it straight up again, so it's parallel to the first one, but I don't know how high to take that yet. So this is where you might have worked it out a bit more than me. Has anyone worked out the ceiling height? You've done it 3 metres? Good. Yeah, that's what I was going to do anyway, so that's good. So I'm going to offset 3,000 from the line here, click above. So that's our ceiling line. But again, I need to make a layer for the ceiling. Okay, so I can put this new line onto that layer. So if you're worried about the floor thickness or even the ceiling structure and the thickness above, you don't really need to be, because chances are you're not going to affect anything either below that line or above the ceiling. So I'll offset those later. And so you can keep drawing lines up from the floor plan. And a common approach is just to go through and work out every point that the section line is crossing. But here I've got these doors, so it's not really crossing anything there. So I'll leave those for now and just come over to the other side. And it's obviously crossing this wall here, so I can draw a line up and take it this time just to my... sorry, I have to take it past the ceiling line because we're going to maybe extend that wall a bit beyond it. But I just thought while I'm doing that, I'll see if you've used some of these other options. So I know if you had James or Raj or some of the other teachers, they will show you these other line drawing tools. Have you seen these ones? Ray and Construction Line? Remember using that in CAD 1? No? Good. Okay, don't worry about them. They're meant to be better for these things. I actually find they get really annoying. So I think you can stick with the line tool and it's fine. So again, just using the line tool, I can draw from the outside of this wall. And as long as ortho's on, I can take it straight up past my ceiling line. And that'll be good enough, I think. So I've got these sets of lines that represent my walls. And then, because it's a unit that extends beyond what we need to show inside the floor plan here, we can maybe extend at least the floor line beyond the walls there as well. So maybe now I'll offset the floor thickness, like I said, about 200 from the line of the floor down. Now the ceiling basically includes a bulkhead, but I'm going to ignore that for now and just take it from the ceiling, the line of the actual ceiling. And yeah, no, actually, what you're saying, Tom, was right. The 300 is probably a better measurement now. Think about it, because that'll include the ceiling and the floor. So I'm going to offset this one 300. And then I can use trim. And this is where you need to think a little bit about how you're going to represent your sections. So the ceiling probably should stop here, but maybe because these are all existing elements, what you can do instead of stopping one element or the other is just trim everything back. And all I mean by that is press enter when you're using trim. That'll make everything a cutting edge. And then you can simply just take all of these lines out, so it's got no lines crossing there, and the same here. Okay, so your apartment needs to fit inside that rectangle that's left in the middle. And then later on, you'll trim these lines. So you could even draw a line just below your floor line to help you to trim that. So if you trim using that line there, you can just bring all of those back. That's a good basic setup, and it's just like the floor plan, a really good idea to get the outside right before you go too far with the inside. So get the two outside walls, definitely, on the left and the right. And then the floor and the ceiling. And then another thing to watch out for is what you can see here, because when you're looking just at this floor plan, it might look like you would see the wall there. But would you see that? Would you see that corner? No. No, that's right, you wouldn't. So, I mean, if the building really did look like what we see in the plan there, then you would see it. But I'm sure you all realise, I'd say you'd see that wall, but I'm sure you realise when you are looking at this exterior that what we're seeing really is part of the next unit. So the wall would be behind this blank wall here, that, where is it? So that wall there would be behind here. And so there'd most likely be a room that takes up all of that space. So you wouldn't see that line. So in other words, when you're drawing the section, you can ignore these parts of the balconies that project out. And then coming back to the interior, so working across from this line now, when you've got the doors, of course, it looks like the door there isn't being cut by the section line, but you need to remember that you'll see the door head, or the bit of the wall that's above the door, will still show in your section line, or sorry, in your section view. And so I'm going to go back to my wall cut layer and just draw a line from the wall, just above the section line there, just from the corner of the wall. Take that up, and I'll take that all the way to the ceiling and just make it snap to that. Show you another handy trick when you're drawing lots of lines like this, and you will with sections. You can just draw one and then use the copy tool. So I'm just going to click copy. I've got the line selected, so now copy, and I'm going to zoom in and I can snap to the corner of the wall or the bottom of the line. Now I can go across to the next wall, or sorry, the other side of that wall, and then coming across to my next door, same thing, just click on the two corners, and then again across to the next one where we've got an opening. So again, I can just click on the two sides of the wall there. That's it.
When you do your
Yeah.
you'll see the inside of that hallway wall, will you?
Yeah, except where the doors are. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so you'll see these doors being cut because you're going to see the wall above them. So here now I can see the wall without the doors being cut into them, but then I can just offset the door height. So are you just using standard door heights? 2100? Yep, not 2 metres, good. Okay, so I'm going to offset 21. So the sliding door? Yeah, same. So just do 2100 for those as well. Oh yeah, I'll do that too, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to offset 2100 from the floor line. Okay, so just from this line here, I'm going to click above. So that's my door head height. And I'm going to change this line to my wall cut layer. And now I can use trim. And I'm going to select that line and all of those walls. Right, so get all of these and then all the bits in between. Okay, so is it clear what you're looking at there? You're just seeing the wall that would be above the door. And so it's the same principle as setting out the openings in plan. You make the hole in your wall first before you try to draw all of the different parts of your door. Right, so this one's the easiest because that is just an opening. There's no door there. It's just a hole in the wall. So I can change now to the wall projection layer. And in my section view, I'm going to draw a line from either side of that wall. Okay, so can you see how now that reads as an opening? Because we've got the heavy lines at the top and the light lines at the bottom. And to do a door is not much more work than that really. So same basic idea as the door we've got here. We've got a door jamb, which is called a door head in this case, but it's made the same way. So the door jamb is the same size as it would be in plan. Just using the line tool, 40mm down, 100mm across, 40mm up. We don't expect you to draw the door in section. You only need to draw the frame. So the door's quite easy. If you do want to draw the door, you just draw a rectangle. But for the time being, you can, like I said, just draw the frame. So I've got the door jamb there, and now, again, I can switch back to my door projection layer and draw lines either side of the door jamb. Okay, so that reads as a door jamb. And maybe I'll just real quickly show you how to draw a door because it's really easy. You could just do it by eye almost with a rectangle. Make sure it's on the right side, so it's going to be on the left-hand side. You would just draw a rectangle inside. It looks something like that. Okay, if you want to see the door in section as well. Yes, sir.
I thought that section line across the whole way,
Yeah.
where was
Yes, you do. Yeah, okay, so you need to be thinking what's happening in 3D, not just what you're looking at in the plan. You don't see the wall in the plan. That's right, there's no wall showing in the plan.
No, I mean, even at the right-hand side.
I know, but there's a return here that tells you that it's an opening.
I know it's opening, but when you cut from this, when you cut from here,
Yeah.
here, it seems there's no wall.
It might seem that way, but what you need to realise when you're creating these drawings is that you're showing what's happening at the height of the cut plane, but you still need to know, so you should be thinking of this when you're doing the drawings, what's happening with the wall, and you need to know that the wall there is still going to be going across that opening just above the door height, just like it does in this situation here. We've obviously got wall above the door in this room as well, and that's always going to be the case. You're very rarely going to have a door that doesn't have a wall above it. So that's something you need to understand. Everyone...
It's an elevation, I thought we probably need to draw the wall. If it's a section,
No, section you do.
I mean, you still need to think about
Yeah, you do.
to absorb.
Yeah, yeah. No, you definitely need to draw the wall. Okay, so that's how your section should look. For the cut elements. So, and the cut elements are the ones that normally you need to pay the most attention to. So these are all the things that are being cut. I'm just going to copy that door across to the next opening. So that's the bedroom door. Right, now, maybe just so that you can think a bit about what the wall here, because I know when you first start drawing sections like this, you might be focusing more on this wall because you're looking towards that. But that's really not the important thing. The point of a section is to firstly show the things that are being cut. And technically, you can have a section with only the things being cut and not showing the things in elevation. But normally you will combine them and show the things in elevation. So here I've got a door that I haven't drawn in the plan yet, so maybe very quickly I'll draw that in, and it might make it a bit clearer what you're looking at. Okay, so I've just put the opening in, and I will put the door block that I used before as well, and there we are. So we've got the door there now, which probably needs to be, I don't know, 800 across from where it is. So I'm just going to move that across. And I might flip it over. There we go. Okay, so obviously this section is pointing upwards, so we'll see that door in the section as well, but it's not being cut, so it's going to be in projection or in elevation. So I've got a door projection layer. Right, so again, I don't need to always make new layers for the section. Just going to draw a line now from the corner of my door jamb up to the where my section is. Don't need to worry too much about the exact length as long as it goes up into the section. Then I can use the same trick I showed you before. I can just copy that line now using each corner of the door jamb. And then I've already worked out my door heads because I've got them in the section there. And there's a common drawing method that a lot of designers use, which is plan, section, elevation. There's a reason they say it in that order. Because if you do the plan and then the section, you usually have all the information you need to draw the elevation. So there is a reason. So here, again, because I've drawn my section, that gives me the heights for my elevation as well, just by drawing a line now from the corner of my door jamb, or my window, so my door frame there, over to here. And another one. for the bottom. And then fill it. Okay, so that's how my door looks in section. Got a trim using the floor line there to trim those bottom lines off. And then the only other finishing touch might be a chevron. In other words, an arrow showing you which way it opens. So we've got the handle on the right hand side. So that means the chevron, and you should call it a chevron, not an arrow. It's just a fancy word for arrow, but that's what you should call it. So so again, there having that arrow to show the direction of the door opening is standard. Okay, so
When it comes to the elevation for the window,
yep. Oh, the sliding doors. Yep.
is that what that's referring to?
Yeah, yeah.
Or is it referring to the curtains as well?
Oh no, the windows. So is this for the second assignment or? Oh, the first one. Oh, you mean the third assignment? Yeah, the drawings. Yeah. So that's all you need to do. Just the windows. Yeah, you don't need to draw curtains. Yeah, the curtains are a real pain to draw. So avoid that wherever you can, and you can usually just specify those with your materials and finishes board. Oh yeah, you can specify it, but you don't need to draw it. No, not necessarily, no. So, yeah, no, drawing curtains. Oh, to draw the window treatments? Right, yeah, no. Well, you wouldn't normally draw curtains. It's not ever done. John might. I don't think John would have asked for that either. I think he's talking about other things. So there are other window treatments. Yeah, you wouldn't draw curtains. Honestly, I've modelled curtains in 3D and done all sorts of drawings of them, but for drawings like this, you wouldn't draw curtains. Oh, for your studio class, yeah, you might have to do it for that. Yeah, for a construction class, you never will. But yeah, so for studio, they might want some nice sort of organic flowing lines to show the curtains in a diagrammatic sort of sketchy way. It's not normally something that anyone would require you to do, but yeah, maybe for your studio class they're asking you to do that sort of drawing. So that's a different. They're a different type of drawing to what we're doing here, because you just wouldn't do that sort of line work in a construction drawing. If you do want to try drawing those things in AutoCAD though, normally if you want to draw curtains or anything like that for your studio classes, I think they expect you to do it by hand. But if you want to try drawing organic curves with AutoCAD, you've got... Yeah, normally wouldn't draw them in AutoCAD. You can, no, because you can just, those things are all, they're not fixed. So they're just a product that is supplied at the end of the project after it's all built. So you just need to specify it. You could, yeah. Yeah. But like I said, if you want to try drawing it with AutoCAD, just to help you draw on some of the lines, you do have these tools here under the Draw panel. You've got these different spline tools, and they're good for doing these sorts of shapes. I'll just do a few so you can see there. You can get these shapes that you can't get normally. So that will give you something like a curtain. And I have actually had to draw curtains a few times for mainly for perspectives and other things where I'm trying to show nice pretty pictures. And so those tools work really well. So that's spline. So under the Draw panel, the first two buttons there are different types of spline tools, and that just means an organic curve, essentially. Yes, I'm going to do that. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. So then, if you want to do the sliding door in elevation, same basic principle as the door I just showed you. And again, a lot of these ideas are very similar to what you use when you're drawing by hand. So I'm going to draw, again, lines from the edge of the opening first. So with, yep. Yeah, yeah. I did it 300. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you can, yeah, that's fine for now. You can probably adjust them later, but that's fine for now. So, so again here, I'm drawing a line, but on the wrong layer, so I'll change to the right layer. So, yes, again, I'm going to draw a line from the corner of my opening first. So hopefully you're getting the idea that the opening is the most important thing. Get the size of that right, and then worry about the framing afterwards. So again, a line for the two sides of my opening, and then I'm going to draw a line for my head. But here, we've got to check the height, and you can see, yeah, they've basically got a fan light above each of the doors, or a highlight. Sorry? Oh yeah, you should. Yeah, it's pretty easy. They're just rectangles. So all that means is that this line will extend up a bit higher, and it's hard to know exactly how much by looking there, but yeah, that's right. They look pretty close. So maybe we'll say it's 2,700 and 20. Do 21 and 20. Yeah.
And maybe you don't know how high are they from the floor because of the rain and the water. You don't know if there's.
Oh, look, it could be flush. It could be flush. So what we'll say is fairly old, not super old. I mean, that's 80s, I'd say. Yeah, they could easily be flush, but again, those things can all be adjusted. So I'm going to offset. 3 meters. Yep. So, okay, so I'll get rid of this line and I'll do the heights again. So I'm going to offset 2,400 from the line of the floor, and then let's say 50 mil from there, and I'm just guessing here, so I might just do a quick measurement. Yeah, I'll just do it 2,700. Okay, so I think some of the photos might give you a better idea. Yeah, there is a bit of a drop down there. So, yeah, so I'll just say 2,700. So I'm going to offset 2,700 from the floor. Put it on the right layer. Yeah, and actually I might just redo those because that's too low, so I'll offset those again, and we'll just do it 2,100. So I can even, sorry, to be confusing, but I'm just going to draw these across instead from here so they're the same height. We might need to adjust the heights later. But again, that's fairly easy once you know how to use stretch. So aside from that, I've got the the door jambs, which we've just made 40 mil. So I could draw lines from the plan again, but I know they're 40 mil, so I can always offset 40 mil from the insides or towards the inside of my opening. Fillet those together. And then it's not a bad idea to trim all these lines as you go, just so that you know what you're looking at. Once you've trimmed it back, much easier to look at. So I've got the frame. All I've done is basically come in, the opening, and I've come in 40mm all around each side of the frame. I've got the head of the opening there, and again I will trim to tidy that up before I go any further. Now, looking at this again, you can see that there's a mullion in the middle. So a quick and easy way of setting that out would just be to draw a line from the midpoint here. We know that this frame thickness is 40, so I can offset 20mm either side of that centre line, so to the left and the right. And so then the door, you can set out in the elevation, but we've done it all in plan, so it's sometimes easier just to come back and draw the lines from here, project up to the frame. So that's one side of the door, and then I've made them all 40, so I can offset 40mm. I mean, these lines you can tell basically in the same line, but it doesn't hurt just to do it again. Oops, sorry. Offset 40. There we go. I'm going to put an extra line somewhere, that's okay. One more side. Okay, so offsetting one more line from there. And then fillet to join them together. Again, trim to cut this line back at the floor, so I'm going to select that floor line, my cutting edge, and then come back to it. Now I haven't really been setting the layers for these objects, so I'm going to now try to select all the inside parts, just using a window going left to right, and I can put them onto my door projection layer. And so I don't need this center line anymore, I can delete that. I could also trim just to tidy up the frame there at the top. And then to get the other door, I simply need to copy these three lines, because part of that door is going to be covered in this view. So if I copy those across to here, you can see then this door on the right reads as being behind, because we don't see the frame on its left-hand side because it's behind the left panel. No, because the solid bit of the frame's covering it. So we're showing it closed. We're not showing it partially open. You wouldn't. In elevation, you don't. In elevation, you show it closed. Yep. So then you put the arrows on to show how it would open. So here, you can just, even if you've drawn one in plan, copy that. Now, it doesn't go like that, because that would show this panel sliding to the right. So this has to go this way. And then the other panel is going to have a mirror image. So I'm going to mirror like that. So that's how your sliding door should look. So like I was saying, in the plan, it does look a bit like there's one fixed panel and one sliding panel. In reality though, I'd be pretty sure both panels can slide, especially in a small door like this. And so it's really an elevation that you indicate that more clearly with the two arrows. If you only had one arrow, that means one's fixed. So that's it. That's going to give you the doors and elevation. And anything that's outside of the ceiling or the floor, so above the ceiling line or below the floor line, don't worry too much about those things. Just focus on things that are inside your unit. And so again, just to continue on, I won't show you the rest of it, but you can just then project from all of the things you would see. So you'll probably have doors in this area that you'll see once you've got them showing in plan. And again, so you'll see those in elevation as part of your section up here in that area.
And what about the furniture?
So do the furniture last. You don't have to show the furniture in section anyway. And for construction drawings, you don't even need to show the furniture in plan.
I think she does want us to do
Oh no, for studio. I mean, studio is a different subject. Okay, so the drawings you're doing here won't be the same as what you're doing for your studio class.
Oh, really?
It's the same project, of course. This is a construction class. Okay. You're not doing construction drawings. That's right. So you do different drawings for that subject to what you're doing for this subject.
I know, but we need to know how to draw that by AutoCAD, so that's what AutoCAD would be.
Partly, but yeah, so some of those
Why
things.
squeeze so much furniture with construction as well?
Yeah. So
Picture. in the
you
same
don't.
drawing.
So that's something you need to understand. So I don't think it's clear to you that drawings for construction should look very different to drawings that you're doing for your design classes. It's going to help you having the same project in both of those classes because you're doing some of the work that's going to be common to both subjects, but you shouldn't be expecting to have the same drawings in both subjects. They're different styles of drawings altogether. Construction drawings are technical drawings.
But we haven't done any drawings in that class with the teacher.
You must be doing some drawings.
No, we haven't.
No, you've got to be. So what, you're not doing any drawing? No. It will help you. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. No. I don't think you maybe make it clear to whether this is a construction class, not a CAD subject. That's the case in CAD subjects, but not in construction classes.
We haven't done any
But you've done a whole CAD subject.
during the class.
Yeah.
time.
But you've already done a whole CAD subject, so you should know how to do the drawings already from that subject. You've learnt enough to do design drawings in CAD 1. You can do floor plans, surely. Anyhow, so that's something that you need to be clear about. So maybe for the furniture though, to get you started, this isn't normally part of this subject, but you can go and find things in the library that will be similar to what you want, and then you can modify them. So if you go into the insert panel, click insert, and then more options. Click browse, and then go to the P drive, and I know I showed you this before, interior design, and then hopefully you'll remember this one, AutoCAD library. Blocks 2D, and you will see lots of folders like, say, domestic furniture, where you find lounge chairs and other standard elements that you might need. Okay, so I click OK, then I can place that obviously in the space. Okay, so that's really what you need to do, and I mean, you should by this stage you should have worked out ways of getting furniture and the other things you need for your designs as part of your drawings, and you know, AutoCAD's going to give you a starting point, but sometimes if you don't know how to use AutoCAD to draw things like that.
Okay, we will know. The thing is that you told something else. That's the thing. And
But the drawings, okay, I thought that actually the drawings that I'm doing here, it's exactly what I need to do for.
No, and I've said that before, that they will be different. They're construction drawings that you're doing here, and you're doing a design subject, so the drawings should be completely different. That should be something that you'd all be familiar with if you've done. Well, design drawings are a completely different style of drawing to construction drawings. So this is a construction class, we're doing construction drawings. The drawings that you use for your studio class, they'll be showing the same apartment, but they'll be a totally different style of drawing. And that's something that should be clear in the first semester or first year.
The thing is, with the time allocation for a course,
Yep.
so up till now we're actually searching for furniture
Yeah.
for the design.
Yeah,
And-
that's
and,
normal.
uh,
Yep.
But there was nothing that indicated that we have to, guys, start drawing now, do it now, just go and find all the decorations and all the stuff. And
Yeah.
we were wasting time on that instead of actually putting more time into the drawings. And then we had to do so much for the drawings, etc. So it just,
I mean, look, these courses are always a lot of work, and I know what it's like, but
it's because
yeah.
we have two different teachers.
Yeah.
And one for the first 5 weeks, and
Yep.
then the other came in week 6, and she's the one who expecting us to do have done these things, but actually it was miscommunicated.
I know there's a lot of assumed knowledge, but it's the same with all design
It's not
courses.
assumed knowledge, it's miscommunication.
Yeah.
Because I'm coming to all lessons and
Yep.
I listen to
So
everything
then
that
in
you
practice
told
goes
and
through
that's it.
construction drawings, this class, no kind of freehand drawing.
No, you don't need to. That's right. Which makes it easier. So,
How can we learn the interior design, AutoCAD drawing and applying to the interior studio? Decoration studio, sorry, yeah, decoration.
well, that's in that subject that they'll explain to you the sorts of drawings they want. So that's a different subject. They'll be teaching you, or hopefully demonstrating even, what graphics and drawing style they want. But you must have done some studio classes already where you've had to produce design drawings, presentation drawings. Yeah. So you do the same style of drawing once you have the skills using the software. But maybe here I'll just quickly show you some examples of other people's work. Might be easiest to understand.
Because you didn't do the CAD. You didn't do CAD last year. How do they expect you to do
Yeah.
it?
Point when
But
we're at the point we are because
Yeah.
we've learned from other people.
I know, but look,
not ourselves.
yeah, look, I know, but maybe what hasn't been made clear enough is that with all design courses, you have to use a lot of initiative. And trust me, I had to do all of this on my own at uni many years ago, and we were not taught any of these things. They were just, it was just assumed knowledge by the middle of first semester. And in these courses, it's definitely explained to you a bit more than that, but you still need to use a lot of your own time
It
to.
seems like a lot of people will use that as an excuse for
Because that's the way everyone learns. You can't be shown everything in design. A lot of it you learn by doing, and so when you start drawing, then you'll work out what things you need to research if you're not sure of certain drawing conventions.
You're assuming we've learned a lot more than what we've even done, what we've even done. Like,
So-
just in other classes. There's a lot of you should have done that, and I've never heard that in my life, So
Right? Yeah.
I do think that, I don't know, it gets very frustrating
Yeah.
to pay 22,000 dollars to be here and then get told you should work it out on your own.
Yeah. No, but also, I mean, I think maybe once you get a group culture where you do sort of seem to think that everything's going to be given to you, it is going to hold you back because I've taught this class to lots of different groups over the years, and different group dynamics have made a big difference because I've noticed with this group there is that problem does keep coming up, that people think things aren't being explained and maybe that it should be given to them when really they're things that you should be researching constantly. And any design course, it is going to be a lot of work.
It's That's not the research.
Yeah.
I've done the research.
Yeah.
I've done the work.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
doing what I'm told to do.
Yeah.
So we're wasting five lessons every Wednesday the last 5 weeks. We were searching for furniture
Yeah.
instead of actually starting to draw stuff and not relying, because we can't rely on this today's lesson. It's
Yeah.
not accepted. We should have been told
Yeah.
that this is not.
But-
You have to start the drawing now.
Yeah, but I think rather than questioning all of these things, that you're obviously being told the same thing over and over again, which is that you do need to research these things. And so instead of resisting it, maybe you just need to go with it and take the advice that all of these people who are teaching you, who've been doing this work for 20 years, are telling you. They're all telling you the same thing. And I think there's a lot of resistance. We know this group in particular, there is a lot of resistance. And these drawings that I'm showing you now were all done by people who've done the same course as you. A lot of these were done in second year. Okay, so these are people who had the same level of tuition as you, were doing this work. Right? And they were taught by the same people. The difference is these people did a huge amount of their own research, and rather than, again, assuming that they had an idea of the process, they went and found out what the process was from other people who are already practitioners, and then followed that process themselves. And that's what you need to get. Again, I've done the same courses as you have, and then also maybe a bit beyond that, and that's the process that I've always followed. So, yep. So, and again, try and get the section set out as far as you can, and then